Welcome, welcome. A little video plays brings us on over. Coach Riley Edwards here with us today, but I'm going to let Phil introduce him. Welcome to RiverCity-Media. Welcome to Beyond the Booth. Welcome to the ugliest man in sports talk, which I'd be Phil Harris, and the best looking man, which is me, but that's a personal opinion. Welcome aboard, Phil. We got a great show tonight. Coach Edwards was good enough to give us some time, and tell us a little bit about Coach Edwards.
Of course, I have the voice for radio. I've been doing that for a long time. I've never been able to strike it into the TV rankings. So, but Coach Edwards,
I don't think either one of us has got to worry about the TV coming.
No, I don't think so either. Just stay behind the scenes. Well, Coach Edwards, welcome in. I know this is your second year at Section High School. You've got year one under you. Of course, last year you didn't have spring practice. This year you did. Now going into year number 2, do you think the foundation's kind of laid to get this program going on the right foot?
Yes, we are. We spent. We opted out of a spring game, but we did the 2 hours a week stuff where we really focus on our skill development and just really focus on slow it down and really look at technique. That's one of the big things on film that I noticed through the season was, our technique was just really bad. So our goal going through the spring was, get out there, foot down, try to get real good at technique, try to get real football IQ. That was a big focus. Then, of course, throughout we started in February. We got Coach Richard Kohler. He's a retired college coach that he does mental performance training, and he came in. He started out with just the football guys coming in Fridays during the school day, and our principal liked what he's doing much. Every athlete, male and female, had to go to his sessions, and we'd meet on Fridays. His big thing, teaching them how to be player-led as opposed to, a coach-led team. They worked on building some core values, and we developed a set of core values as a athletic program, not a football program, but as a athletic program with him. And it went really well, especially whenever you got a guy that's worked with, Coach Kohler's worked with, he's worked with Indiana some. He's done some things at Clemson and Georgia some. He's done some things with several high schools around here. Spends a lot of time at North Greenville. He worked full-time for Troy when Coach Clark was there as a mental performance coach. So, he's worked with some big-name schools, and he come in and kind of laid it out just like with a D1 program. And, our kids kind of learn from him from a professional standpoint of that angle. So,
yeah, and we kind of – of course, we kind of spoke on that before we come on the air that, your football team has got to learn to be player-driven rather than coach-driven because, any successful coach would tell you, a coach can get you through maybe a quarter and a half, and then you have to become player-driven. Your leaders, have to step forward, take up the slack, get everybody on the same page, because if you're going to be successful on the field, a coach can't step inside that white line and help it all. It's up to them on that Friday night when they step on that field.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, it's one of the things that, we try to preach to them and talk with them and discuss. One of our big things coming in was we've got leaders. TikTok and Instagram and television now do a terrible demonstrating to kids what the world leadership is. And, we got to do a good job of laying a foundation of what leadership is, what character development is. We focus real hard on the character development side. So, the heart of our program is building the kid. And, when they leave our program, it's important that they've got the tools and the material to be successful, outside of football. Ultimately, that's what, high school athletics is about anyway.
Well, yeah, you spoke on an important thing to me. I had a class in college, and it talked to be successful in life, you have to build a brand, and I couldn't disagree with that more. Everybody has a brand, but that's not your identity. That's not your legacy. The ultimate is when you want to hear somebody talk about you and they don't mention your name and they know exactly who you're talking about. That's a legacy. That's an identity. The brand is one thing, like with section football, they're a brand, but there's an identity and a legacy that must be lived up to, and there's more to it than section lines.
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely so.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I want to talk a little bit about your family. Of course, Miranda, your wife, and of course, you've got a daughter, Livy Kate. Great name, love that name. She has to be the light of your life.
Oh yeah. She definitely is. We went. We're open about it, and that's one of the things I talk to the kids about. Life's not going to be easy on you, and me and my wife, we're both 42, and we got a 5-year-old. And the reason behind that, we was told several years we couldn't have kids. And I was talking to the players about this. It's right before school's out. I said, what are you gonna do when you come home and your wife's upset because doctor has said you can't have kids, or this type of stuff, and things that you can't control as a husband, and how you gonna handle that difficulty, and but anyway, a lot of people prayed, a lot of prayers out there. Me and my wife was praying, our family was praying, and a lot of people was praying, and 8 years went by, and Livy Kate was born, and she rose the roost.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Did she come to practice? Did she come to workouts with you? Has she taken that kind of interest yet?
She comes when she can on certain things. A lot of our coaches, it's pretty funny. Was all laughing the other day because all the coaches, we all have daughters except for Coach Pope's got one son, so it's a bunch of girls and Levi up there riding their bicycles around that track at section. But she'll come up every once in a while. They, the kids all know her. She takes a special interest in the cheerleaders because that's what she wants to be one day. So, she goes away in and out around the field house. She'll go to the weight room every once in a while with me when she can. But yeah, it's just like I told our new coaches we hired. I was like, I'm just like Daddy. If we're at a program that don't allow your kids to come around, then you're not at a program you need to be at, because these kids need to see us as coaches being Daddy. And so the kids welcome all the time because they need to see father figures at work.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Then that's what I was going to tell you about, that ask you about, is a lot of these kids, used to old football coaches, old days, you just taught toughness, and things like that. It's about winning football and discipline. Well, now a lot of these kids do need a second father, a father figure, because, a lot of kids come from broken homes, and, and they need that stability, and having those kids around, it's got to be good for them because, because when they see those kids around, because all those kids up to them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's just like my daughter is really, and I've talked to some of the kids about it. There's a picture on my Facebook of my daughter. She walked out at Meet the Lions last year, and she was holding one of the cheerleaders' hands, and she's looking up at her. And I tell the kids all the time, I said, look at how my daughter is looking at Kaylee right here. Like, can't tell me that looking at her in the way that she admires her. Little eyes are looking at me. So how you act, how you carry yourself, how you interact with the students in the hall, little ones are watching, and that goes back to what you're just talking about with your legacy. What type of legacy you leaving behind, the way you treated somebody, and that those young kids are looking at those athletes and say, well, that's how you're supposed to act. And, you know, we got to demonstrate that and teach it and model it and rep it. And, you know, because if we're going to build a program, you know, the way we act in the hall, the way we act in the community, the way we act, you know, we can't be different in one place and we're another. We got to be the same person. And that's one of the things we're pushing for.
Well, Coach, tell us a little bit about your wife, Miranda. I know she's a teacher, I think, at Henniger School. You know, often in a football coach's world, the wife kind of holds things together. Is that true in your case?
Well, you know, it's pretty funny. Some coaches, some people is like, how do you handle your wife with our coaching times and all that kind of stuff? And I said, well, it was real simple. I married a coach's daughter.
Yeah.
You know, me and Miranda both come from coaching families. You know, my dad coached forever, and Miranda's dad is so you know, she knows what to expect. If I get home early, she's wondering that what went bad at practice, the reason I left early, or you know, or we're not trying to get better that day. So she understands the hours, knows the hours, and you know, knows what it's like to be a supportive wife. And you know, you can't for a better wife to have than Miranda, especially the coach's wife. And you know, when I was a head baseball coach, it's the same way. Not any different than that. You know, the time spent, the hey, I need help with this. Can you do this right here while I finish this up? Or getting a bind to practice. Like one time she brought when I was at Collinsville, we had left the camera for a game time. She camera, you know, to film the game, you know. So little things like that coaches have to depend on their wives to help out. And you know, Miranda beat Miranda. She knows it. She's a good, godly woman, and you know, just family woman.
Yeah, because of course she knows that if you put in the work, you're going to have Friday night. She'd much rather you come home with a win under your belt because that makes life a whole lot better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Randy, you want to ask anything before I go further?
I just got a couple. I want to ask one question and a comment. Coach, I'm going to let you know I'm a 57-year-old dad to a 14-year-old who films games for Hickson High School and dreams of being an athletic trainer. So that might be your future too, but sounds like we got a similar path. Coach, last year I'm at a different high school and I'm in Tennessee. And I knew you had went from Collinsville to section, and I kind of try to watch the new coaches' scores and not expecting much, but all of a sudden I kept checking your scores and hey, you're winning. Hey, section's winning. All in all, for a first year, you got out to a pretty good start.
We did. Took us a minute to learn the offense. Took us a little bit to get caught up the defense. We, you know, and we're still in those growing pains right now still because we, you know, we worked the hall real hard this year. We, you know, all the coaches at section have been great. Coach Wynn, the head basketball coach, has worked his butt off to help me out. Couldn't ask for a better basketball coach to work with. And Coach Pope, the baseball coach, couldn't ask for a better baseball coach to work with. He's worked his butt to help get kids out. Coach Caleb Haynes, he's an assistant basketball, does track. He's worked his butt off helping us get kids out. And Coach Ford, he coaches girls basketball and softball, but he's helped us too on working the halls. You know, it's a great culture of coaches to work with. I think all of the head coaches work great together, and everybody has been forward on helping get kids out for all sports. And so we're going to have a lot of new faces this year. Athletic kids, real athletic kids. And we're working real hard about teaching the game to them, getting them ready to go. But, you know, without those other coaches helping me work the hall and get these kids out, I mean, it's been a community effort at section, and I couldn't ask for any better group of other sport head coaches to help us work those halls and get together and all that kind of stuff. So it's coming. It's been built, and it's a great group of guys, and got two good administrators, and Mr. Wigley and Miss Chapman. They do a great job of supporting us and helping us try to build what aspect we're trying to build.
Coach,
Coach.
Go ahead, Phil. I'll get him next time.
Oh, okay. Well, what I was going to say on that, Coach, is, of course, there's a stereotype out there, section's a basketball school. And, and in the past, that's been their traditional stronghold. But every once in a while, this program has had some good football programs. I know when Monroe was the coach, I was calling games for K98 at that time, and they got to the semifinals and lost to Lincoln, and which had a very good team that year. But, in the past, section has had some great football teams.
They have. They have. And, that's one thing that we talked about, referencing Coach Wynn, and Coach being the basketball and baseball coaches. They're both alumni section, and they both want the football program to do well. They don't want just their program to do well. They're wanting the whole athletic program to do well. And I mean, it's important to them because both of them played football at section, and then they both played football and baseball as well. So seeing the program excel, that's important to them. And like I said, I can't brag on the co-workers. I mean, I don't have enough good things to say about them. They've real hard to support and help and be there and lean on and vent to and everything.
Well, Coach, I want to go back. Of course, you played at Collinsville. I think you made All-State in 1999. Did you play under Ernie Willingham?
I did.
Yeah. How big of an influence has he been on you? I know you coached under him, you played under him. How big an influence has he been?
He's been a real big influence. I talked to him a lot. I played for him. He came to Collinsville my junior year. It's pretty neat. Everybody always cut up about this. My dad was his defense coordinator the first time he was at Collinsville, and then the next time he was at Collinsville, I was his defense coordinator. And playing for him was great. Coaching under him was just as good as playing for him. So he's a real good mentor, real good influence. We'd always cut up, and funny thing on him, because he's got all kinds of mannerisms that you can copy, and we'd always cut up, and he'd tell me, he goes, you just wait, you're going to be doing the same stuff, and I'll catch myself every once in a while doing something. I'm like, let's get one now. I was like,
hey, and he'll be the first one to throw you under the bus too.
Oh yeah, he will.
Hey, Phil, that kind of led into the question I was going to ask him. So I'm gonna jump in here. Is with Coach Nelson at Sylvania, Coach Whittingham's kind of building a little coaching tree there. Do you think they're, I know Coach Nelson moved from the offensive side, but is that core that Coach Whittingham builds? Is it something both of you take with you?
I think everybody takes some type of core from people that they've played for and coached with of some sorts, always, because I catch a lot of, I catch myself sometimes being like, that's my daddy, or that's Coach Wilhelm, or that's Coach Beckett, because I played a few years for Coach Beckett's dad, and then I coached with Coach Beckett's son, and I think we take a little bit of everything that touched us past, and if they coached you, they've touched you. So I mean, or that had some type of role on your development and growth. So yeah, I mean, I agree. I think so.
Go ahead, Phil. That kind of fell into that right.
Oh, that's fine. Well, Coach, of course, you were a longtime assistant. You were at Collinsville for several years, and then you took an assistant job as defensive coordinator at Crossville for 2 years. Okay, of course, at one time, I think when Ernie had his heart attack, you was interim coach at Collinsville. And I know you spent most of your coaching days as an assistant coach. Had you thought about being a head coach at any time, or did that maybe at that point kind of sort of made you want to maybe scratch that itch a little bit? Did you kind of, think you might want to be a head coach when you were taking Ernie's place for a little while?
Well, not exactly. I've always felt like, preferably God's going to put you where he wants you and doing what he wants you to do. I was content doing what I was doing, working hard, trying to, help build, because Collinsville was very important to us. I was extremely rooted there, I was a third generation All-State. Both my granddads made All-State there. My dad made All-State there, and then me and my brothers were all All-State there. And then Dad coached there for 30 years, and then I was coaching there. I coached there 16 years, was a head baseball coach for 11. So, really deeply rooted in the community, and then I guess, you get that tug and feeling that, you need to take. I'd turned down several job offers in the past, several extremely good offers actually. But didn't feel that it was the right thing to do, and the Crossville kind of came along that aspect, and going up and Coach Darnell. That's another one I've took some stuff from. Coach Darnell does a dang good job. He was a good head football coach, real good head football coach. Got a lot of stuff from him, and great. I learned a lot at Crossville, a whole lot at Crossville, and it was a very good learning experience. Very good. I feel like I grew as a coach the 3 years I was there more than I have anywhere else. And yes, it's a tough place, but the kids there's some kids there that will forever be some that I know that if there's a situation arise that I really need somebody, there's a bunch of people at Crossville I know I can call and depend on to help me. And there was a lot of growth there, a lot of growth.
Well, sometimes I think maybe, Coach, you were comfortable at Collinsville. You knew everybody. Of course, I've been affiliated playing against Collinsville. In my day, I played against Travis Jackson. There's been some great players come through at Collinsville. But, you're kind of in that comfort zone. But then you go to Crossville and you don't really know anybody. You're kind of starting over. So I think that maybe makes you branch out more and where you're not in a comfort zone anymore. And, of course, you spent 2 years there as assistant, and then the head coaching job fell into your lap. Then you decided to take it. Did that really get the blood pumping that, hey, I'm here, I'm a head coach now, I think this is what I want to
do? It did when that came about, and it kind of worked its way out to where I got the head job there. That kind of said, this is something. I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Trying to rebuild a program, trying to establish something. And again, that year out there was a lot of growth. And then one day is out there, and Mr. Wigley messaged me and asked me if I'd be interested in coming to section. And tell you the truth, I had thought the section job was already filled. I didn't even know they had the opening at the time. And I told him, I said, well, I'll call you back after school. We got to talking, and, my wife talked to me. She said, I really think section's where we're supposed to be. And, our house is only 6 miles from the parking lot. So all that, and I think it just kind of fell into place. And I spent a lot of time talking to my dad died my first year at Crossville, and that was a lot of my coaching lean on. So I didn't have him to go to talk to on the advice here. So I leaned on my other guys, my cousin, Mike Riley. I lean on him a lot. Talk with him a whole lot. And Tom Allen, he's at State now, Indiana. I spent a lot of time talking with them and, texting back and forth, getting advice and ideas through them. And, felt like the section deal was where we supposed to be. Last year was the first year there, and we, started laying the foundation, the groundwork of what we wanted to do. And, this summer we start our youth camps next week, and, we're really going to put a lot of time on the Peewee kids to slowly start playing that field that we're, has.
Well, Coach, I was going to speak on that. People, you spoke about Mike Riley, who's your cousin. A lot of people don't really know who Mike Riley is. I think one time he was at Alabama, but he was Oregon State's head coach. I think he's coaching in the UFL now. He also coached at Nebraska. He's a very well-known coach. And, of course, I want you to speak on him, but also comment, has there ever been the opportunity where you might could go to the college level and coach?
There was. I actually, people tell me how stupid I am, but again, prayerfully just went through. But I actually found a coaching job at Mississippi State University when Dan Mullen was there. I had an opportunity to go there, but, again, me and my wife are both, we pray over everything we got, that what we're supposed to do. And we just felt like that was right thing to do, or the right time at the time. And the year after I turned that job down was when Daddy was diagnosed with cancer. So we made the right choice on that. And but that interview process was definitely a growing experience, because they hammer you. It's not I've had interviews in high school, but that interview process, they hammer you on that level. It was very nerve-wracking.
Well, really, if you look around here, Coach, we're blessed to be in the area we're in, not just football, but basketball, softball, baseball. Every sport in the DeKalb Jackson County area is very competitive. And, and year after year, we have teams that go way into the playoffs. I have often said that, with Coach Benefield and Fife, they've had great success, but they've raised the bar for everybody else. Now you're seeing Pisgah make deep runs into the playoffs, Sylvania make deep runs into the playoffs, and you guys, at some point are going to follow that suit too. Now everybody around here knows what it takes to win, because your measuring stick is Fife High School, and I think it's really raised the level of football in this area.
It has. I mean, there's good football here, and it's hard football here, and you can't just roll a ball out there and win. You've got to work, and that's one thing I admire about Coach Benefield. He has a standard, and he sticks to that standard, and he works that standard, and that community, that school, the staff, the players, everybody associated with that brand there is committed to the standard. And people starting to see that you got to have and you got to do it.
Yeah, definitely. So, and Coach Pope, that was Fife basketball coach for years. I talk to him every once in a while, and people will wonder, they'll ask what Fife's secret is, and you can ask Coach Benefield too. There's no secret. Like Coach Pope says, you go up there and watch what those kids go through and what they put themselves through, and, and how they do things, and you'll understand why they win. Nobody does it better than them. And Coach Benefield will tell you the same thing. It's not no secret. That he went on an interview when he was talking about it. He goes, I tell everybody there's no secret to it. It's just that, we just feel like we're going to play one play better than you. We're going to be stronger than you than fourth quarter. He said, and our kids believe in that.
You're right, 100%.
Yeah. Well, Coach, of course, you're in the 2A region. Of course, it kind of shifted around a little bit. Collinsville went to 3A. Fife goes to 3A. Well, you still got to contend with Pisgah. Of course, everything's kind of jumbled around a little bit. But, this region you're in is going to be very competitive. You look at Pisgah, of course, on paper, they're the team to beat. But everybody else is kind of shuffled around, and it's going to be very competitive in your region. Somebody's going to go 8-1 or 9-1, 8-2 that nobody expects. So why not section?
Yes, sir. And that talked a lot. We're telling community, and hey, you got opportunity, but they have an opportunity to do something. They got an opportunity, build, build something they can be proud of. You look at this region in the past. My last year at Collinsville, three teams from this region were the last 8. We had to play North Sand Mountain to go to the semis, and then we played Fife in the semis. Cedar Bluff at that time, had a chance. They got close to winning, and it could have very well been Fife playing Cedar Bluff and us playing North Sand to play the winner of us, us and Fife playing the next week. So, and then you turn around and then Pisgah and same deal. Pisgah and Fife past 2 years in semifinals. So, in the same, this region has went deep the past, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I think it's because of the competitiveness. It's so competitive. You play a playoff game week in and week out. There's no off weeks hardly.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, I know you left Cross. I want to ask you about this. I know when I went and saw you guys play Ider the first game of the year when you were at Crossville, me and my wife was watching the game. Of course, it was a very competitive game. Ider and Crossville both lost key people in that game. And, of course, y'all lost that one 8-6 on a snap over the punter's head. And, of course, you lost your top running back in that game. But I told my wife I was very impressed. Yeah, Crossville don't have a lot of numbers, but those kids are where they're supposed to be. On a play, they were never out of position. And, I told Chris, I said, they don't have a whole lot as far as player personnel goes, but those kids are well coached. And I could tell it that first game against Ider year before last that you had done wonders with that football team.
But that's the thing about those kids. Those kids, the Stephen Ones and the Miguel Jimenez's and the Dakota Causeys, those kids going through what they go through. No, football's not number one because they've got other things that are important, that are more important. They have to be. Those kids have to be adults, while a lot of kids get to be kids. And, the effort and the work that those kids have to do and what they strive for, I would take 100 Dakota Causeys. I'd take 100 Stephen Ones and Miguel Jimenez because them 3 guys right there, they'll pour it out for you. Stephen won Scottsboro over. The Scottsboro community saw him, how hard he worked, and he wasn't but about 5'6". He was a 1,000-yard rusher in 5A, and how hard of a man. He might not have been tall, but he was a hard man, and that mentality. Those kids work. They focused in. We made things simple for them, but they did things. They did make coaching easy in the way they did things, and being consistent, running the same thing. That helped. But I can't say enough good things about some of those kids from Crossville because you can name all of them. We had 21 kids on that roster playing 5A football, so.
Yeah, and of course, you hate to see Crossville lose their football program. Anytime that happens, it's disheartening. You wonder who's next. Hopefully, they're going to be able to get their feet back on the ground because we need football, we need athletics, and every kid, that plays. But sometimes you kind of look around. We've got too many lopsided games. You would think the state could do something to make this a little bit better, like evaluate a Crossville that's a 5A school, yet probably should be playing at the 2A level, or maybe even, 3. I could see 3. But, it makes it tough. It makes it hard on these kids to come out. You want to play, but you don't want to get your head beat in and night out.
Yes, sir.
It makes it tough. So,
Oh yeah.
well, Coach, I wanted to give you a quote. I got a quote from a coach that knows you very well. And I asked him what he really thought about Riley Edwards as a person. He said, the most important thing I could say he is the type of man that you want your kid to play for. His priorities are in order. A good coach, but a better man. So do you think that kind of sort of follows suit for you?
That's what I strive for. When you wake up, that legacy that you talk about of, being a good man. If we can demonstrate it, that's what we strive for. Obviously I screw up a lot and mess up, but just trying to be an example the best we possibly can for these kids, in hopes that we're doing God's mission for us on while we're on this earth. That's one of the, both my parents raised me that way, and that's what we strive for.
Well, Coach, I know, and I want to express this to you. I know, today's world, you kind of have to be careful what you say, but the best thing you can do for these kids is lead by example, because they go by your actions a lot more than your words. So if you're a good Christian man and you show it off the field, they're going to follow that. You don't have to say anything.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's just, it's like we talk about a lot. Talk a lot about being a TV instead of radio. People's going to see what you do long before they hear what you're saying. So if we live our life and act the way act the way that we're trying to build, they'll see the example, and hopefully mimic it.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, Coach, I want to ask you a couple of things here. What do you do for fun outside of football? When you can get away for a little while, what do you do to relax?
I don't know. I do a lot of, I lift a lot. I like working out, and I enjoy working around the farm some. I enjoy mowing, enjoying mowing and coaching football kind of go hand in hand, since you got all that mowing to do. I enjoy mowing. This my think time. I obviously doing stuff with family. We always been big on family and doing family things and doing things together. So that's kind of it. I'm not a golfer. I'm not a. We'll travel a little bit, but just as much stuff you can do with family. That's kind of more of my side thing.
Okay, tell me this. If we jump in the truck with you, what kind of music are we going to be listening to?
Country
music. Yeah, I figured that. I kind of sort of knew that for you. Well, tell me this. What's your favorite all-time sports movie?
Whew. Oh, goodness. Well, it's pretty easy. If you ask anybody that's ever been in my class, they'll know it's The Sandlot.
Oh, Sandlot. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Now, an even tougher question. What is your wife's favorite movie?
Oh, goodness. She watches all kinds of stuff. Good. I probably couldn't narrow it down. She's got all kinds of movies and you don't have a specific genre. She'll watch anything and everything just about. But I don't know. She likes some of the old stuff. Oh, man, there's several of them. There's a bunch. I don't know what
I guess she probably likes the Hallmark Channel, right?
Oh, she's all about it. She's all about
it. My wife too. Oh, yes. Christmas in July.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got a comment out of my wife on that one. She says, "Hey," so yeah, but that's that's great stuff. Randy, you want to ask me a couple of things before I go a little further?
Yeah, I want to ask you about a couple. Well, I got a couple of viewer questions too. Our friend Howie Cheney asked a couple of questions. He said, I'll quote him, kind of paraphrase him here. When you was a young coach, Coach Edwards, with your dad and your father-in-law as both coaches, did you ask for advice or did you get advice?
I asked for it. Both of them, my dad and father-in-law, both wouldn't volunteer it. But they always, and that's one thing growing up. I learned from Daddy. My dad never took it home. He never coached us at home unless we asked it. So if we come in after practice one day as a kid, in high school, and so we had a bad practice, he didn't hammer it unless we brought it up and we asked, hey, I struggled with this drill, what I did wrong. Then he'd coach us up. And, Daddy always said that was, he said, when we walk out that field house door, I'm Daddy. We're going to be Daddy. And he said, I'll be your coach if you ask me a question, but I'm not going to coach you at home unless you ask. That's one thing Daddy was always real good at, and he always did. And Daddy and Coach Mitchell both wouldn't volunteer info unless I just asked. But now I ask a lot. So
I want to ask about an event you just recently had at your school, and Coach Graham was on here and promoted the event, but he was really excited to have it at section. What did that mean to you to host the Christ Football for Christ at Section High School?
It meant the world to me because first off, our families, the Edwards family, Graham family, goes all the way back to the 70s. Daddy and Clinton Graham coached together at Sylvania for I think Daddy was there 5 years, and so the Graham family is like my other family. So all those brothers, Clinton and Ennis were like second mom and dad to me and my brothers, and Sam and all of them were always our, how it is with coaching families. They were brothers. But Sam's first camp I attended as a player. I was a 10th grader at his first camp that he hosted. I went to all of them as a player, and then helped whenever I was in college when I could, and then I've helped every year as a coach. And when they called me wanting to have a, I was excited for it. It felt like it's a good opportunity for my kids that I'm coaching, but a good opportunity for the kids in this area, all the schools in this area, because that's a top quality camp. Sam does an excellent job, and the coaches he puts together to work those positions and coach it up. They're top-notch men, and their coaching experience goes well beyond, a hobby. The knowledge of those guys coaching is huge, and they're great men, good examples, great guys to be around. I always look forward to it every year just because of being around those guys. Make me better as a person, not as a coach, but make me even better as a person. And, we had 140 campers, which was great. Great. Had a very good turnout. 140 campers. Kids was working. Coaches was coaching up. I think the camp went great. And, I hope we're able to host it again next year. And, I hope we have even more, because it was a very quality camp. And great guys. The kids all enjoyed it. Kids worked hard. I think we had, I counted up, we had, I think 14 different schools represented there. Some from Brewer, which of course Matt brought some of his players. Matt worked it, but we had some from Brewer, had some from Oxford, kids from all over remotely here. Fife, Albertville, Section, Geraldine, had some kids from Sandrock. So it touched a big area. But like I said, 140 kids. It's a great camp. Sam does an excellent job of putting that on every year.
Yeah, I saw Coach Ralston was there. Of course, Grant, the coach that was, I think, the offensive coordinator at Muscle Shoals, and his quarterback was there. Good-looking kid. He is a very good-looking kid. But, and you were talking about quality people. Coaches like Chad Grant, that's at Ider. You can't say enough about him. You know, I hear people talk about him. They say he's an excellent football coach, excellent teacher. You know, so, you know, y'all had some great coaches there, not just a lot of the kids at the camp. You know, a lot of these people volunteer their time. And I was down there where Coach Ralston was really working one-on-one with those kids. And, you know, I'm sure taught them a lot of things, especially defensive side of the ball. He was teaching a lot.
Yes, sir. It was great. You can't say enough good things about Chad Grant. He's a good one. I love picking at him, cutting up with him. Great guy. We're opening up with them. I enjoy playing him just because I enjoy being around him. I mean, he's a good guy, but I mean, he is a really good football coach. He is a real good football coach. Knows what he's doing. I just in good hands. You know, he going to do good there. And of course, you know, he's home. That's where he's from, and he'll do a real good job. And Coach Ralston was doing, you know, is good running into him again. You know, we had Trey Elston there. He was coaching up a lot of the DBs. He, you know, Trey last year played. He played for Mike last year with the New Jersey Generals, but you know he's drafted. He's played for the Bills and the Eagles, and you know he played at Ole Miss. You know he played for Sam when Sam's the DC at Oxford, and you know had you know is good guys, good instruction going on, and a lot of my assistant coaches were there listening in on some of the coaches and stuff, and talking about how much they enjoyed learning from those guys.
Yeah, and I'm sure the kids got a lot from it too, because you know, and of course, winning football games is very important. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of teaching involved, but you know, Coach, I guess you take great pride in being a great teacher, because winning is very important. But how you reflect on these kids as people, how they grow as men, how they become fathers, what kind of person they become off the field. That's the most important thing when it comes to being a head coach. Yeah, the fans in the stands think you should win every game, but you know, and that's true. Everybody wants to win, but there's a whole lot more important things going on behind the scenes that some people really don't understand.
Oh yes, yes. You know, still in one from again going back to what we talked about earlier. You know, still in one from Coach Wilhelm. You know, if they keep in score, we won't win. You know, obviously, if they keep in score, we won't win. But you know, if they leave our program, they don't know how to shake your hand, look you in the eye, and say yes sir, no sir, and dress right, and hold down a job, and you know, all that kind of good stuff. You know, did we win? And you know, we didn't. If they don't know how to do those things, and you know, that's one of the things we're working hard on is teaching these kids, you know, how they're supposed to act in interviews, how they're supposed to dress, how they're supposed to carry themselves. Now, they balk on you a lot because they don't like, you know, they want to wear those pajama bottoms and wear those Crocs and their earbuds in. And, you know, they don't like the idea that you got to wear your hat on straight and take it off in the building. But, you know, ultimately, you know, one day they'll look back and go, that guy was trying to help me get a job. And that guy was trying to help me, you know, get where I want to be. And, you know, we do these things. It's called an individual athlete action plan. And but basically, it's a set of questions. They have to answer these questions. And on that plan, it's they have to list academic goal. They have to list a community goal. They have to list an athletic goal. They have to list a career goal. And then under that, they have to write down their plan on how they are going to achieve that. And then beside it, they're going to write down their plan of how they ask you to help them assist to get that. You know, so the question is, what do you want your coach to do to get to that point? You know, so and then it helps us to see where these kids want to go. You know, we find out if they want to go to the military. We find out if they want to go tech. We find out if they want to go college, if they want to go straight into the workforce. That helps us as coaches get to know where they want to go after school, and then it helps guide us on how we need to pursue them on their development. I have a thing that I have a picture built. It's a picture of a heart, and it's got the athlete in the middle of it, but around it, it has everything that we're building. You know, college and career ready, right? So are we working towards developing them in that physical, mental, emotionally, academically, socially? Because, social skills now are hard. All they know is social media. So are we teaching social skills? Are we teaching them how to communicate in person and not on a device? All that type stuff factors into the future of that kid. So if we're going to build a program, we got to develop that whole kid, not just the athlete.
Yeah, you're definitely right. And it just kind of goes along with, like every once in a while we'll have student athletes on and interview them. It's great for them because it's great for them to public speak. That's like when we have media days. You'll bring 4 of your kids to the DeKalb Jackson media days, and we'll get the kids to talk because we want them to talk because it's great for them. Brings them out of a shell a little bit, and each more every time they do that, and that's your communication skills.
Yes.
And that's very important in the development of these kids.
Oh, yes, sir. Communication skills are huge. The more they're on that device, the harder it is for them to communicate face to face. And that's one of the things we try to get them to communicate on the field. And it's so hard to get kids to communicate on the field. They're so worried about their identity. And it's like, look, communicate face to face. You're going to have to do it one day.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah, because that's like when I played, we weren't a very vocal team, but you called each other out when things weren't going well, and it wasn't taken personal. It was not personal. You forgot about it and went on to the next play, and the kids have got to understand that you don't let it linger on. But sometimes you need a little slap in the side of the head and, to get your attention a little bit. And there's some of the guys that need to step up and do that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And like you was talking about with identity, it's like in 1984, I won a state championship at Valley Head, but that's not my, that's a brand. That's not what I am. My ring's in a drawer somewhere. But now the stories behind playing and playing for who I played for and like doing with the scoreboard show, it gives, I know what the kids are going through when they're playing for state championships. And that's a blessing I got from that because I can share my stories because I understand what they're going through. And if you've been there, you can share a lot of knowledge in that because, it's winning football games is fun. It's great. You're climbing that mountain, but that's what it's about. It's those relationships. It's the friendships. It's the memories. It ain't always about winning all the games. It's about those relationships you have as teammates because you climb in that foxhole and you're in it together, and if you do things the right way, you're going to win.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're right. And, as a coach, nothing excites you more than to get those messages from former players. Example, Michael Tucker's a kid I coached at Collinsville. He texted me the other day and, on all that was all the text was he sent me a picture of his baby, and he goes, look, coach, growing, and that's all he said, and sharing those moments, you got that relationship with them.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, Coach, I want to ask you this: on a given Friday night, if we're coming to watch the section lines play, what are we going to see?
We want to see our core values. We want to see effort. We want to see attitude. We want to see toughness. We want to see persistence. We want to see grit. And that's the hard thing that we're talking on. We want to see kids going hard. And we want to be, and we really, that's one thing Coach Kohler really worked with them on was being process oriented instead of outcome oriented, working on the process, play by play. You can control your effort, you can control your attitude, you can control your toughness, you can control grit, you can control persistence. All those are controllable aspects of habits that we're wanting to develop. So, whether you up by 50, down by 50, or tied, we want to see those traits carried out every play.
Well, Randy, is there anything else you want to ask?
Coach, in 32 years of doing this on the radio and then here, talking about kids in development, we've been lucky to have a few kids go on and play at the next level. And you talk about social media, but I feel like we need to teach them how to. I always told every kid that's been with me, if I hear you on Saturday and you sound horrible, it's not going to be because I don't prepare you. It's a similar thing in life to learn how to speak in a job interview.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exactly. I mean, being able to walk in and, greet the person properly, have a firm handshake, look them in the eye, talk to them, have good posture. All those aspects that are missed out. One of the big things when I taught sixth grade, 16 years, sixth grade math, but one thing we focused on a lot is that teaching but things like that get some that used to parents taught a long time ago. That we're having to filtrate into the school saying, hey, this is how you do this. This is, when you go to this job interview, don't lean back in your chair and just mumble. Speak up, be audible, and be confident. Have confidence when you talk. Don't shy behind your words and stuff like that. And that's part of the development process. If that's one of the things that if I'm going to run a program and do a program, we're going to develop the whole thing. We're not just going to focus on just Friday night. It's our job to get these kids college and career ready and get them ready that if they want to play at the next level, then let's get them there. But if they don't, what do they want to do? What career path do they want to take, and how can I help them get to that career path?
Coach, yeah, of course. Yeah, and it's like it's like you always say, dream big, shoot for the stars. Because you never know, you might get there. You may have to adjust a little bit, but shoot for the stars. Whatever you dream big.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Last question. I'll turn it over to Phil to close us. In your personal life outside of school, how important is it to you to be able to carry some of your personal trades into Coach Edwards and be able to, as you said, live that example?
My thing is I'm not a different person here than I am there. I talk the same way at school as I do at home. I talk the same way in the weight room. Now I might be a little louder in the weight room, but my vocabulary is no different at school than it is at home. The way I treat people is not going to be any different, outside of school as it is, at school. And if you don't act different at different places, then you don't have to hide nothing. You just be yourself. Be yourself as much as you can, and that's one of the things that Daddy was that way, and my mom's that way, and it was if you can't be one person here and one person there and one person at church. You got to be the same person where you at, and and take those traits and be happy with who you are. Be happy in your skin, and just do the best you can at what you got laid out in front of you, and be you. Don't be nobody else. I don't have to be this person or that person. I can be myself and be happy with who I am, and live it the best way I can.
Phil, I'll turn it over to you, but that's a good advice for 9, 19, or 90. That's great advice, Coach. Phil, close us out tonight.
Yeah, of course, we had Coach David Hughes on last week, and he talked about when you're at coaching at this level, you're also a teacher. Of course, I'm sure you think that being a good teacher also makes you a great football coach. It goes hand in hand. But he talks about that, God puts you in a place where you can mentor to others, and what better way to do that? Yeah, you're not going to get rich coaching high school football or softball. He said, but you get to mentor to so many students, so many athletes, and it's your way of making a difference. And then when you step back at the end of your career, you can kind of sort of, it kind of humbles you a little bit knowing you had such a big influence on others.
Yes, sir. I mean, it is very true. Very true. I 100%.
Yeah. Well, Coach, the guy that gave me the quote was Teddy Helms that talked about you. But, that's what you want to leave as a legacy. Like I've always said, what you want is for somebody to say something about you and talk about you and not mention your name, and people knows exactly who you are. That's a true legacy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you for being on. I don't know if there's anything you want to add, give out a shout out to anybody. I know I'm looking forward to seeing the section lines marked improvement this year. I know when you first came in, I remember the media days, you kind of broke everything down, that nobody had a position. We were starting from scratch. You were going to have to earn your position on the field, and I think that's a great way. It don't turn things around quickly, but it builds a good foundation, and the results will come in time.
Yes, sir. And that's one thing, was we want to make sure that we got good, solid ground to build on, and, establish what the expectations are, what the standards are. And, we're going to move and build from there. And, we like I said, we're focusing on the whole athletic department, and, everybody's building those standards. We all work out together. We all condition together. All the head coaches are all up there together. And, I feel like Mr. Wigley and Miss Chapman have done a very good job of building a culture at section as administrators, and all the coaches on staff at school are all working well together. And it's a good place to be right now. It's growing. It's the culture is growing. It's a good culture to be in, and we're excited what the future's got for us, and excited to see what growth can happen.
Yeah, I think you can agree with this. Athletics has become an investment now, because you have to give these kids something to play for and something to take pride in. And then it extends into the school culture too. I think that's the best way to win these kids over in school, because if you've got school pride, I think we've kind of lost our way in that. Probably a lot of that because of the social media stuff. But this is a good way to get it back, is through athletics.
Oh, yes, sir. Definitely. I agree with that 100%. Yes, sir.
Yeah. You can close us out. Coach, I want to thank you very much for coming on. We'll get you on again sometime, and look forward to a great football season. And, of course, I look forward to seeing you media days.
Yes, sir. We'll see. Appreciate you.
Hey, Coach, if you have any fundraisers or anything going on at the school, just text me or shoot me an email so we can get them up.
Oh, yeah.
Section lines. We may not be with you every week to broadcast the games, but everybody is our team, so we root for everybody. So,
yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
If we can do anything else, you let us know. Well, time too.
All right. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Phil. That's a great coach. And he may not have won 9 games, but everybody I talked to was impressed with the progress of the sections lines last year.
He's a quality individual, and section's going to pay. It's going to be dividends for them in the future, because he's got the foundation laid. A great quality person, and it's a good community. Also well supported. Of course, they're mainly known as a basketball school, and you have to get past that. But if you can get those basketball players out to play football, it can make a difference.
And he has a chance to make a huge jump in his wins this year.
Yes.
I think they won 2 or 3 last year, or something like that. What, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, it was something. I know they beat Ider. I can't remember. 2. They may have won about 3. But the thing is, this year is Piss is going to be the team that you're going to look to as be the favorite in the region. But 2 through 8, it's anybody's game. It's that competitive. It is that competitive.
going for 3 wins to 6 wins or 7 wins or 8 wins even is entirely possible in that region.
Yeah, definitely so. Because you've lost Collinsville, who is going strong right now. Going to have a good team this year. And of course, 5 is always good, but Collins will jump back up to 3A, and they've got a lot returning. They're going to be good. Sandrock has struggled a little bit. Cedar Bluff come back up to 2A. They were 1A for a couple of years. They're back to the 2A ranks. Of course, Ider dropped down to 1A. They're still going to play Ider. North Sand, they've got a new coach, but I'm sure they've got a lot of kids back.
Yeah. How good's 3A football on Sand Mountain with those 2 teams going to
Oh, God. And then you got Geraldine and Sylvania on top of that.
Yeah. It's going to be a heck of a year. Getting close football time, Phil, but we 2 weeks we have a SEC referee going to be here with us, Jeff Flanagan, replay official for the SEC, and I got about 20 questions already wrote out about, because we're setting a game sometimes. It'll take them 30 seconds to fix a call, and sometimes it takes them 5 minutes. I think Jeff moved from ACC to the SEC trying to fix that. And he's got all kinds of things to tell us about how they're going to process calls faster, how they're going to move things faster. But that's on the 15th. We'll have him here live in the studio. Also, we got something big coming up for you, which is going to be your transplant games, I think it's in 1 week.
Yeah, starts. We'll have to be down there Friday, and it runs Friday through Wednesday. Of course, the show will come. I'll try to find a place to do it from down there on Monday night. I don't know who we're going to have on yet, but we haven't really lined anybody up. But we'll get somebody lined up. But maybe I can get a quick interview with somebody from down there. Also included. With a guest that we'll have on, and maybe you can get somebody out of Chattanooga. But, I look forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Chrissy and I are going down on Friday. We're going to be in the 5K walk/run on Saturday, and then I'm planning on competing in a couple of events. But it should be a lot of fun. Probably going to be very emotional.
Yes, I'm sure, especially some of the stories we've heard. I'll also tell Jeff Flanagan not to take any money from you to change any calls, that you might try extra $100. Leave orange in his call. So nice he's moving from the ACC to the SEC to give us a little insight there. I would like to have somebody from the transplant games on. Maybe find one of the coaches here in Chattanooga to do 15, 20 minutes with us, and then do something remote from the transplant games would be good. But I was really, really super impressed with Coach Edwards. Some didn't know before tonight, but I left with a sincere, wonderful impression of Coach Edwards.
Well, how you'll hear other people talk about, coaches like that. And, he's always been spoke highly of. He played at Collinsville, was assistant coach at Collinsville. I think he may have the head job at Collinsville after Beckett left. And I'm not sure what happened there, but then he ended up going to Crossville's defensive coordinator. And then it kind of fell into place for him to become a head coach. But I think that was good for him. And he kind of talked about that it allowed him to branch out a little bit. And he got out of his comfort zone. And now he's comfortable with taking over maybe being at Collinsville so long kind of held him back. I mean, you don't know. And then now he's sprung forward. Now he's a head coach. And I think he's going to do well.
Phil, I think he will too. What an impressive guy. Little news from other guests we've had recently. Sam Everett's pick up his first official offer from Maryville College. So he was super excited. I think that first offer, I texted him and I said, well, you're going to be throwing touchdown passes somewhere on Saturday this fall. So that was big news. He promises to come here and commit live on RiverCity-Media when he decides to do it. And also talked to Isaac Smith, who's going to be leaving here in a couple of weeks to start his soccer career at Tennessee Wesleyan. I told him we might have him on a short segment, talk about, getting prepared for that season at Tennessee. Big step forward from Hickson High School to NAIA soccer, which is some of the best in the country, I've learned, Phil.
Oh yeah. Soccer players are good everywhere. I mean, it's just a matter of where you end up because very competitive. At any level in soccer. It's probably not a whole lot of difference in no matter who you play. There's a difference in football and soccer. Soccer players are soccer players. They're very good.
Yes. Well, it was a great show tonight. Anything you want to tell us how to donate still to transport games? It's not too
Well,
late.
I think, yeah, we've pretty much done that and all that. We've kind of sort of gotten all that squared away. It's just a matter of time and getting to the game and getting our hotel and kind of feeling our way around because this is our first time. Of course, in the 2026 games, I don't know where they're going to be at, but we may, be involved in that again, no matter where that is, because it's been fun being involved in this. So we're looking forward to it come this weekend.
Still planning on running the marathon?
I won't run. I'll probably do the 5K walk. Running probably not going to be much to it. Unless there's a glass of water I need to get to real quick before somebody else does. And then I'll just elbow somebody.
I tell people I run every day. Refrigerator's about 10 foot back that way. So, all right. And of course, too, I want to shout out Michael St. John. We had him on Saturday night on the wrestling show. He's going to come back and talk to us about Arabian Nights football one night. So, might do it on this show. Get him on here to talk about his broadcast high school football.
Yeah, what all he's involved in. He's been in Arab football for a long time. I followed him for a long time, but I didn't realize at one time he was in wrestling. We know each other from media days. We talk a little bit, but not on a one-on-one level a whole lot, just kind of sort of small talk. But I've always thought a lot of him and listened to a lot of his broadcasts.
Yeah, well, he's my new best friend. I'm keeping him.
Is he? Wrestling. You got him on the wrestling part, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, it don't take much. It don't take much to influence you. The wind changes directions, and you'll change paths.
Well, I don't have many friends. I was wondering if Coach Edwards would take me on there. So, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll wrap it up tonight, and then. But the one thing I will say, and we make no secret of our faith, yourself or myself. It is nice to do a show. And when you leave there, the coach's testimony too, because he doesn't knock you down in the face with it, but you hear it in his words. And so many of the coaches on Sand Mountain, you have a similar experience with.
Oh yeah, definitely. So because this is what this is about. It's about the kids, and what I enjoy most about what we do is people can hear a little bit about who Riley Edwards is as a person. Many of them don't know him as a person. They just know him. He's the football coach. He's only been there at section for a year, so a lot of people don't know him. But then you get a little taste of who he is. Well, I didn't know about Coach Edwards, and I think that helps with, because anytime on a Friday night, you're going to hear criticism. But if you know a person a little bit, I think it sort of pipes down that criticism. Because his job is to win football games, no doubt about it. If he don't win football games, he's not going to be doing what he's doing. But he has a lot more important job than just that.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. Well, next week, join us. Phil will be at the transplant games. We'll catch up with him. I'll probably bring Howie in and let him join us too next week. So we have two in the studio. And appreciate everybody listening. Very important. Would you please, you see scrolling on the bottom is our YouTube. We have so much planned for you and RiverCity-Media. So much more things, so many more opportunities we could take part of. If we could get a better following on our YouTube, maybe even do some pre-recorded stuff. So we need your help here at RiverCity-Media. And just go follow that YouTube. Give us a chance to expand our audience, go live a little more on YouTube. We appreciate it.
Yeah, because I mean that I think you sent me that where the advice was just to focus on YouTube a little bit more because there's a whole lot more outlets out there, and of course we're kind of feeling our way through this. We don't know. I mean, we're not trying to get rich. We're not trying to make $1 million, but but if we can bring entertainment to people, it's fun for us. It's entertaining for them. And, I never thought I'd be doing a podcast and never thought I would enjoy it at all, but it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah. And only 2%, Phil, 2% of the people who listens to us follows us on YouTube. So, we've got to get those numbers up, and it gives us an opportunity. We've learned through Facebook that they will partner with us, will help us out. So we're just trying to build a business here that will help us bring the kids, the coaches, and everybody else to you. So we'd appreciate it. For Phil Harris, for Randall Cunningham, this is Beyond the Booth, and we'll see you next Monday.